It was a typical Monday morning at Smith& Company, a mid-sized corporation in the heart of the city. The employees were slowly trickling in, trying to shake off the weekend haze. Amidst the bustle, one person stood out: the new female boss, Rachel Smith. She was a no-nonsense Type A personality who had recently taken over as the CEO of the company. As she made her way to her office, she couldn't help but notice the new janitor, John Thompson, sweeping the floors with ease. He was a quiet, unassuming man with piercing blue eyes and a chiseled jawline. Rachel, being a successful businesswoman, had never really noticed her colleagues in that way before, but there was something about John that caught her attention. Over the next few weeks, Rachel found herself looking forward to her daily commute to the office, if only to catch a glimpse of John. She would often excuse herself from meetings to grab a cup of coffee, just so she could stroll past his cleaning cart and exchange a brief smile. The inevitable happened one fateful day when Rachel summoned John to her office to discuss the new office supplies order. As he entered, she was struck by how good he looked even in his worn-out janitor's uniform. They talked for about an hour, and Rachel found herself relaxing around him, feeling more at ease than she ever had with any of her corporate clients. That meeting marked the beginning of a secret affair between Rachel and John. They would often sneak away to her office, or even the supply closet, to indulge in lusty trysts. Rachel, being the boss, was aware of the risks involved, but she just couldn't help herself. John, on the other hand, was smitten with his boss, but he knew he had to keep their relationship under wraps to avoid being fired. As the months went by, their forbidden love blossomed. They would steal away to romantic getaways on weekends, and Rachel would often arrive at the office late, her hair disheveled and her eyes still heavy with sleep. The other employees noticed the change in her demeanor, but none suspected a thing. However, their secrecy couldn't last forever. One day, as they were indulging in a particularly passionate encounter in the supply closet, they were caught by their colleague, David, who promptly reported it to HR. Rachel was devastated, fearing the worst for her career. John, on the other hand, was more concerned about losing his job. In a surprise move, Rachel decided to take a stand and confront the issue head-on. She called a meeting with the entire staff, where she publicly acknowledged her relationship with John. To everyone's surprise, she proposed a bold solution. She would marry John and even offer him a promotion to CEO. The employees were stunned, but they couldn't deny the love that radiated from Rachel and John's eyes. They were an unlikely couple, to say the least, but they were undeniably happy together. The wedding was a grand affair, with the entire company in attendance. Rachel and John exchanged vows in a beautiful outdoor ceremony, surrounded by lush greenery and sparkling waterfalls. As they exchanged rings, the guests couldn't help but feel a sense of joy and acceptance. After the ceremony, Rachel announced John's promotion to CEO, citing his exceptional skills and dedication to the company. The employees cheered, and John, overwhelmed by emotion, was nearly brought to tears. As the months passed, John proved to be an exceptional CEO, bringing in fresh ideas and innovative strategies to the company. Rachel, as his wife and co-owner, worked closely with him, and their partnership flourished. They became one of the most powerful and envied couples in the business world. Their office affair had started as a scandal, but it had transformed into a beautiful love story. Rachel and John's relationship became a symbol of hope and acceptance, proof that even the most unlikely people can find love and happiness together. As they sat in their office, surrounded by their employees, Rachel turned to John and said, "You know, I never thought I'd fall in love with the janitor, but I'm so glad I did." John smiled, his eyes shining with devotion, and replied, "I never thought I'd become the CEO, but I'm more grateful for that than anything." And so, the two of them continued to navigate the business world together, hand in hand, as the most unlikely power couple of all time. As the years went by, Rachel and John's relationship continued to thrive. They became one of the most respected and admired couples in the business world, known for their strong partnership and unwavering commitment to each other. John, as the CEO, continued to lead the company with vision and passion, while Rachel remained a driving force behind the scenes, guiding the company's strategic direction and nurturing its growth. Together, they made a formidable team, and their employees loved and respected them both equally. Their office affair had started as a secret, but it had blossomed into a beautiful love story that had captured the hearts of everyone around them. They had faced challenges and overcome obstacles, and their love had only grown stronger as a result. As they approached their 10-year anniversary, Rachel and John decided to celebrate by taking a romantic getaway to a luxurious resort in Hawaii. They spent their days lounging on the beach, snorkeling in the crystal-clear waters, and enjoying candlelit dinners at the resort's fine dining restaurant. One evening, as they were strolling along the beach, John turned to Rachel and said, "You know, I never thought I'd find someone like you. You're the love of my life, and I'm so grateful to have you by my side." Rachel smiled, her eyes shining with tears, and replied, "I feel the same way, John. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm so proud of the man you've become, and I'm honored to be your partner in every sense of the word." John pulled out a small box from his pocket and opened it, revealing a stunning diamond ring. "Will you marry me again, Rachel?" he asked, his voice trembling with emotion. Rachel was taken aback, but she smiled and nodded eagerly. "Yes, yes, 1,000,000 times yes!" she exclaimed, as John slipped the ring onto her finger. Their second wedding was a grand affair, with their employees, friends, and family in attendance. They exchanged vows once more, promising to love and cherish each other for the rest of their lives. As they danced at the reception, surrounded by the people they loved, Rachel and John knew that their love would last a lifetime. They had faced the challenges of their office affair, and they had emerged stronger and more in love than ever. Years went by, and Rachel and John continued to thrive in their personal and professional lives. They became one of the most respected and beloved couples in the business world, known for their love, their commitment, and their unwavering support for each other. Their office affair had started as a secret, but it had blossomed into a beautiful love story that would be remembered for generations to come. Rachel and John had proven that love knows no bounds, and that even the most unlikely of couples can find happiness together. And so, they lived happily ever after, surrounded by the people they loved and the business they had built together. As they approached their 20-year anniversary, Rachel and John decided to take a break from their busy schedules and plan a special celebration. They invited their closest friends and family to join them on a luxurious Mediterranean cruise. The cruise was everything they had hoped for, and more. They spent their days lounging by the pool, taking romantic strolls around the ship, and enjoying exquisite meals at the captain's table. They even got to attend exclusive shore excursions to ancient ruins and picturesque villages. One evening, as they were sipping champagne on the ship's deck, Rachel turned to John and said, "You know, I never thought I'd make it to 20 years with the same company, let alone with the same amazing partner by my side." John smiled, his eyes twinkling with nostalgia. "I know exactly what you mean," he said. "I feel like we've lived a lifetime together. We've had our ups and downs, but we've always found a way to make it work." Rachel nodded, her eyes shining with tears. "We have, haven't we? And I'm so grateful for that. You're the love of my life, John. I couldn't imagine spending my days with anyone else." John took her hand, his voice filled with emotion. "The feeling is mutual, Rachel. You're the love of my life, and I wouldn't trade a single moment we've shared for the world." As they gazed out at the sparkling Mediterranean Sea, Rachel and John knew that their love story was one for the ages. They had faced challenges and overcome obstacles, and their love had only grown stronger as a result. As the years went by, Rachel and John continued to thrive in their personal and professional lives. They became one of the most respected and beloved couples in the business world, known for their love, their commitment, and their unwavering support for each other. Their office affair had started as a secret, but it had blossomed into a beautiful love story that would be remembered for generations to come. Rachel and John had proven that love knows no bounds, and that even the most unlikely of couples can find happiness together. And so, they lived happily ever after, surrounded by the people they loved, and the business they had built together. As Rachel and John celebrated their 25th anniversary, they decided to take a break from their busy schedules and plan a special trip down memory lane. They invited their closest friends and family to join them for a reunion at their childhood homes. The trip was a nostalgic blast from the past, with Rachel and John reminiscing about their early days together, from their first meeting in the office to their first date on the beach. They laughed and cried as they relived memories that had been locked away in their hearts for decades. One afternoon, as they were strolling through Rachel's childhood neighborhood, they stumbled upon a small cafe they used to visit as a couple. Rachel's eyes sparkled as she remembered the countless hours they spent talking and laughing over coffee and pastries. John, remembering the exact same moments, smiled and took her hand, leading her back into the cafe. The owner, an old friend of Rachel's, welcomed them back with open arms, offering them a special table by the window. As they sat down, Rachel couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. She closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, and let the memories wash over her. John, noticing her distant gaze, leaned in and whispered, "Do you remember that time we got caught in the rain and ended up dancing under the awning?" Rachel's eyes snapped open, and she smiled, her eyes shining with tears. "I'll never forget that night," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. John smiled, his eyes locked on hers, and took her hand once more. As they sipped their coffee and reminisced about old times, Rachel and John knew that their love story was one for the ages. They had built a life together, overcoming challenges and obstacles, and their love had only grown stronger as a result. As the sun began to set, casting a warm orange glow over the cafe, Rachel and John knew that their love would continue to be a beacon of hope and inspiration to those around them. They had proven that even in the most unexpected of circumstances, love can bloom and flourish, and that true love can last a lifetime. And so, they lived happily ever after, surrounded by the people they loved and the memories they had created together. Their love story would be passed down through generations, a reminder that true love is possible, even in the most unlikely of circumstances.
Please subscribe to my channel Lessons of Life and press the bell notification icon.